Hey everybody, this is Brad Bruce, and I am here with
Jace Marsiglia.
and you're listening to the 5195 podcast.
Yes, sir.
Third time's a charm.
Third time's a charm. I think Johnny's a glutton for punishment.
We got to make this one good for him
Yeah.
because I don't think he's ever going to come back.
No.
Welcome back.
We'll see. We'll see.
Welcome back.
But I'm back again. I
You
keep
are
coming
back.
back for more punishment.
Yes.
You definitely do. We're going to try to keep this
You
one.
take it in
light.
good humor as well. but,
Yeah.
you know.
How you been?
Not bad, not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Just doing this, that, and the third, working.
Isn't that fun?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. That's why we do this, so we don't have to do that.
You know what's a funny thing? I just said this, that, and the third, but to touch on, sometimes I go out of my way to change a catchphrase. So when I was listening back to one of the episodes that we had done last year, I got some shit handed at me for saying this, that, and the fourth.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys caught that anywhere in there.
No, but I if I did, I probably would have thought he's just being funny.
I just wanted to go down a different road.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, I know damn well it's this, that, and the third.
This, that, and the
So let me
fourth.
just go on the record saying that now.
This, that, and the fourth.
If you ever go back and hear it, and you're wondering why the fuck I said that.
That's just a higher plane, man. Just a
It
higher,
is.
It's just
He's-
a higher
He,
thought process.
It
That's
is.
all it is.
it's
Yeah.
like in Home Alone when Buzz is like 1, B, and 4, or whatever. Like he's naming shit off, and it's like, the fuck?
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's okay.
this, that, and the fourth.
Why?
It's like Nice Guy Eddie. First things fucking last.
nice.
So yeah, I took it in stride if I did notice it, and if I didn't, fuck it. It's a Nice Guy Eddie.
Yeah. It you know what? It works.
It does.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
All right, what are you thinking? Where are we going today?
Where are we going, sir?
Oh, it's up to me.
It's up to you.
Well, Alfonso Cuarón once said, "Watch this guy get hit in the balls." While we were eating dinner, we were talking about music again, man, and music's that's Johnny's wheelhouse. And when we think of music, obviously we think in terms of cinema and all that, and we kind of got on a quick little jibe about soundtracks again, and that might be cool to at least as a jumping off point.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, definitely. I really enjoyed that episode.
yeah.
The soundtracks.
I mean, a lot of the time, you know, I told you guys this earlier, but, you know, if I'm listening to an episode, you know, sometimes I get pissed that I'm not actually in the room with you to be able to chime in
Sure.
and join in and, you know, all the fun.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, like, for me to kind of insert myself into your soundtrack conversation,
Please do.
I really like how you eventually landed on the Crow soundtrack for various artists compilation,
Yes.
which, you know, myself, typically, I'm not huge on those. I'm not huge on just like the playlist somebody put together for the, you know, for the movie. I get it. They're
Sure.
important for the montage and stuff. But like, for example, you know, I know people love the Guardians of the Galaxy's soundtracks, but
Those are fun.
you know, which are good and stuff. But at this certain time, I don't, to be honest with you, it could just be it's not the 90s anymore thing. So I don't want to hear what various shit people are putting together unless it's somebody who, you know, just nails it right. Like Tarantino, you know, he's always got, you know, that immaculate choice for what he puts in his films, you know, the way he puts it together and the way it works.
Very true.
Even if it's an oil and water somehow marriage,
It still works.
that he gets to work, right?
Oh yeah, it's always like it's like old 70s funk, and then there's like surfer rock, and
Yeah.
you know, those are very eclectic soundtracks.
Definitely. So if I had to piggyback on what you guys were talking about in that episode, 90s various artists soundtrack for me would be for Natural Born Killers.
Oh, it's such a good soundtrack.
So solid.
Yeah.
I don't remember much about that one. So,
Really?
Yeah, remind me.
Because they even had like clips from the film.
Yeah, they did a lot of
It's
that.
another
on
one like
MTV.
Pulp, where music, audio track,
Absolutely.
or dialogue. Okay.
Like, I mean, fuck, they got Leonard Cohen's in it.
Right.
Ooh.
I mean, we're talking, like, it's quite the widespread.
It is.
Sure.
I
It is.
mean-
and I think maybe, I don't know, you think maybe Tarantino had something to do with that or the influence, or maybe he,
Oof, I don't know.
Probably-
That's tough to say.
it is tough to say
if
because
he-
of what happened.
I was gonna
you
say
know.
if he
Yeah.
did, it's probably the only thing he would claim.
Yeah, no, I know.
You know.
And I mean, and would a deal like that have been worked out?
Yeah, good
All right, I'm going to
question.
sell you the script, but
But
there is a caveat.
yeah,
Yeah.
When it comes to the soundtrack, I need creative direction.
exactly. Because I mean, no one knows music like Tarantino for film. in my opinion.
Sure.
Yeah, he knows how to find the right.
Because I mean, you look at I have all of his albums,
Yes.
and they're just as important as the films themselves.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, he makes them a character.
They are a character.
You know.
They are. I think the most though that he's that he's ever done that is in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that is the biggest part of the film. You know, in my opinion, because it's, you know, they play it through the whole movie.
Yeah.
They have the DJ. It like captured L.A.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
There's
yeah.
good cover songs in that.
There really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he did a good job. Sorry.
Oh, no, go for
I
it.
think he did a great job, or just what he continues to do with his music is he turns people on to shit.
Yes.
You know, he's not going for like the easiest grab.
Right.
No,
He's
you're
going to go
right.
deeper.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Because, you know, now everyone knows what Misrulu is.
Yeah.
And it's not exactly a song I heard prior to Pulp.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And granted, something like Reservoir Dogs, even Jackie Brown for that matter,
Yeah.
you may have grown up in a household with those tunes. You know,
True.
But
Yeah.
then you get to something like Death Proof. And
Yeah.
there's some really crazy shit in that.
Even
soundtrack.
Kill Bill.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Kill Bill.
It's all over the place.
Yep.
Yep.
So, and then then you get shit like in might have been Hateful Eight where Pino Donaggio was no, it was Django
Mhm.
where he had Pino Donaggio scoring it, and when he found out that he was putting all this rap music in it, he was like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah.
He's like, "This is a period piece," you know what I mean?
yeah.
And he just didn't get it.
He didn't get it.
you know. But it was like
But it's weird because it worked.
it did, and that's the thing. Like I could a knee jerk reaction. I'm like Pino.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, why that?
Yeah.
But then it was like, you know what? Fits the vibe.
Yeah.
And that's all he's looking for anyway. He wants that vibe to fit,
Right.
you know.
Something that might help amplify it
Sure.
Yeah.
in, you know, some kind of ultra violent audio-tistical kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
And even though there is a detachment between Tarantino and Natural Born, that soundtrack still finds its way in the Tarantino archive for me with my
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there is a touch there of him in that soundtrack.
Yeah. I think during that time, I think it would probably be really hard for anybody who's like directing a soundtrack at that time to not even accidentally copy Tarantino if he had nothing to do with
Which
it.
is
For
funny
sure.
because Natural Born was such a drastic departure from what he wrote.
Yeah.
Allegedly. I've never read his original script for that. That the music wouldn't match
Mhm.
if he chose it before he left.
Yeah.
Because the movie, you know, according to him, it's nothing like what he wrote. He disowned it.
But see, here's the thing too, is that like, I feel like it would. I feel like the music still would match if there was a different vision, because those songs are pretty damn impactful.
Sure, but
Some of them are haunting, like Sweet Jane.
Yeah.
That song is chilling as fuck.
mhm.
It is, yeah.
You know, so it's like you can put Sweet Jane in a bunch of different settings and it would still work.
Oh, sure.
You know, so
But
that's why I think with the rest of the songs on there, even like Cohen, you know, it's like
Yeah.
that shit would work with a lot of different, you know,
But that's the
different
thing.
films.
Natural Born was
Yeah.
Oliver Stone, right?
Yeah.
He wouldn't have edited or inserted the music with the same ear Tarantino would have, I feel like.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And then here's the thing too, again, we don't know how deep these guys got before shit fell apart.
True.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
again, you know, Tarantino is very like, he's methodical with his shit.
Exactly.
So it's like, you know, that music is there when he's writing.
Yes.
You know, it's like that story
Yeah.
with Scorsese when they're writing Goodfellas. They're like, oh, write this down right now.
Yeah.
And he would tell him to write down the song because he knew in his mind that that's the song that's going to go with that
It's going to
scene.
marry that
Yeah.
scene. Yeah.
So Tarantino could have been the same thing. And, you know, Stone's like, well, shit, look at his track record. He fucking knows music. So
right.
maybe let's just hold on to these.
That's a good theory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
You know,
Yeah.
that's believable.
Yeah, because if you look at Stone's other
Wow.
movies,
What
No,
a
I
gem,
know.
though, to think about. You
Yeah.
get this script from this guy. You just bought the script, and it comes with these extra notes of like, this will pair well with this.
right,
I do that to Brad.
Yeah, he does. He does. Like,
As a matter of fact, when I write a script now, you know, it's kind of a new thing I've been doing the last 2 or 3 scripts. I will compile a playlist soundtrack on Spotify and send them the link and go, here you go. And then in the script, I'll actually put the name of the song for whatever
Nice.
scene,
yeah,
Nice.
just to give them that extra experience, you know, that extra interactiveness to
Yeah.
the script.
yeah.
Oh, I like that. That's
And
cool.
because
Yeah.
you know damn well that industry format, they frown on that. You're not supposed to suggest shit.
Yeah.
They don't fucking care. But Brad cares and I care. And I'm like, if I could take him as close to the journey as I'm picturing, I'll do it, and then I'll clean it up if I'm going to farm it around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that soundtrack's for whoever's reading it and wants to go for that ride.
That's rad.
So
Yeah, I like that.
and I think, at least for the one I sent you, I think it was Faces of Death. I thought it was pretty good.
Oh, pretty good. I mean, it was good enough to where when I've read the script a few times, along with listening to the music, that when I'm in public and I hear a song from the soundtrack, I think of the scene.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So
That's
I think
wild.
it
So
works.
it worked.
It works.
It worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
You know?
really fucking wild.
Yeah. So that's why I'm like thinking, with Tarantino being as much of an auteur as he is, it doesn't seem too far-fetched for him to do the same thing.
That's what you strive
Yeah.
for, though.
yeah.
Granted, something like Tequila.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to marry that one to? Because every movie has used it perfectly.
Yeah.
You know, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, The Sandlot.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say I'll hear it and go, that one.
Yeah.
But Tarantino's stuff, it's married to its scene.
Yeah.
They're inseparable now.
I think he does the same science. I mean, I'm taking all these liberties here. I don't know what the fuck he does, but if I had to,
Hey, we can.
if
we
I
can
had to theorize,
Yeah.
you know how he would like to choose somebody and kind of like, let's revive this career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like let's remind everybody how talented this actor is.
Mhm.
I think he's doing the same thing with the music.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Never thought of it that way, but you're
Yeah.
absolutely right.
I feel like Tarantino is the guru of AM.
Sure.
You know, and it's like he understands that music, and I believe the way he understands film, that he has cataloged this shit, and something that really reaches out to him,
Sure.
he keeps it.
Yeah.
Because if you think about Tarantino, there's not many filmmakers like him. You know, that
No.
think on that visceral level.
There's a lot of
that's
wannabes.
every level, and that's the problem
They
too.
think they're doing what he's doing. and
Yes.
You're just emulating.
They're emulating because
And
even
that's where they lost. They already lost.
they already lost. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because even Tarantino says, "Oh no, I steal." He's like, "I borrow
He
shit. I
does.
take shit from other people.
Yeah.
But
No,
what's-
I'm influenced by this."
No, and that's what's funny. You can watch a Tarantino movie, and you might watch a movie later on and go, "Oh, that's where he got that
Yeah.
idea."
Yeah.
Or more often than not, he names his characters after the actual actors.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Aldo Ray.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. You know, it's like, okay, I get
Yeah.
what he's doing.
So he's still paying homage to what inspired him.
Yes, with Tarantino, you have to be a cinemaphile,
Mm-hmm.
big time, because he's not pulling from Forrest Gump and Ninja Turtles, or it's not blockbuster movies. It's the
Right.
shit that he
Oh, it's
grew-
deep.
It's
Yeah.
deep. It's
Lots of foreign stuff.
lots of foreign.
obscure, unheard of.
Grindhouse fare.
Yeah.
You know, stuff that's not big,
Right.
not immediately
Right.
recognizable.
Well, yeah, I mean, look what he was doing with Rolling Thunders. You
Mm.
know what I mean? Like he was getting those obscure movies
Yes,
that no one's heard of and re-releasing them.
yes,
I
Well,
respect that.
That's
Even-
it. See, that's that digging.
Yeah,
That's that hunt.
exactly.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
and like we were talking the other day about the Entity
Mm-hmm.
and how he took the, I think it's called the rape. You know, that like pounding score when she's being raped by the spirit, and he put it at a very integral, jarring moment in Inglourious Bastards,
Mm-hmm.
and it had a whole new
Yeah.
geek. And it was when Hans Landa basically came into like the restaurant with the chick who got away at the beginning,
Yeah.
and it was like I remember being in the theater and going, you know, it took me by surprise because it's such a jarring bit of music.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember thinking, I've heard that. And it was later on when I revisited The Entity that I was like, holy shit. And it's like The Entity is not, I mean, it's a known movie. It's not a huge one.
No, it's not. It's not a huge known.
It's not.
Yeah,
it's not brought up a lot.
Yeah.
It's certainly not brought up in terms of music, you know, which obviously it was impactful in that film for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's stuff like that where you'll find a nugget of something and go, well, I'll be fucking damned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never know where the nugget and gem is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, I found by happenstance, just because I patron the same type of movies he does, you know, you and I both go for obscure and
Right.
crazy. Just through Netflix, it happened to be on my list at some point. I happened to find the Italian movie that Sam Jackson is watching in Jackie Brown, where the guy's batting his girlfriend around with a newspaper. And it's like, I'm watching the movie and I go, where have I fucking seen this?
Just stumbled upon it, huh?
Just stumbled upon it because, I fish from the same pond,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was funny because I'm just like, have I seen this movie before? And it drove me nuts because when we got to that scene, what the fuck?
Mhm.
And then I looked it up and was like, fucking Jackie Brown.
Yeah.
Because he's not watching Wizard of Oz or something immediately recognizable. It was some Italian gangster movie,
Right.
Right.
That's funny. You know that there's some people having the same conversation about, you know what I found? You know in Belly, when they go back to DMX's house, that movie they're watching? I found that. I stumbled across that. It's called Gummo.
Fucking A.
You didn't.
No, I didn't know that.
But
Didn't
that's
know
it's that same type of thing, you know?
So Gummo appeared in Belly.
Yeah.
It did. Which was such a
Good thing, too.
yeah. That was great.
I didn't even mean that as a dig. I'm just like, it was just like it fit, the shoe fit.
Yeah.
Hits me right in the gut.
Yeah. That's great. As soon as he said belly, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be great. This is going to be great.
That's what you took from Belly, huh?
Yeah. That was awesome. So what else then? What other kind of various that reach out to you guys?
You talking just in terms of soundtracks and stuff? Or
Yeah.
various artists.
Yeah, various artists, like, like a soundtrack.
Okay.
Obviously, the Tarantino ones, I was on a big Death Proof kick for a while.
Yeah.
Loved that one. We talked about Demon Knight and The Crow. I'll even go one further, The Crow City of Angels.
Okay.
It's not bad.
That one had Filter,
Yeah.
White Zombie,
That whole song, the cover.
Gold Dust,
Great.
Fleetwood Mac's Gold Dust
Great.
Woman.
Yeah.
I like it more than theirs.
So do I.
It's great.
Yeah.
There's Deftones, Korn. A lot
I
of the
didn't see
newer
any of the
stuff.
other crows.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this right now. The
That's okay.
soundtrack is amazing. The other one's fucking. The movie
Okay.
sucks. The soundtrack's great. The movie
Yeah,
sucks.
no,
Gotcha.
the City of Angels soundtrack is rad.
Yeah,
Okay.
it
But-
is. But I didn't like the movie.
I call those movies soundtrack movies where I'm like, wow, everything sucks, but the fucking,
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just turn the TV off, leave the speakers on.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've got, as far as soundtrack movies go, I have The Punisher, Marvel's The Punisher with
Okay.
Thomas Jane.
Okay.
It's another great heavy metal one.
Yeah.
Daredevil with Ben Affleck.
What is it?
Daredevil
Oh, okay.
with Ben Affleck. That's what
Oh,
introduced that one actually introduced me to Evanescence. So that's all up and down that movie.
Okay.
But yeah, some of those are good. I'm trying to mentally go through my rack there.
Yeah.
Because I have stuff like
What
Beetlejuice.
was I saying? There was another one I just talked about earlier. I mean, Forrest Gump is a good
You did mention
various.
Forrest Gump, Shawshank.
Shawshank for non-various is definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah, that was just a good score.
Yeah.
Great score. I drive around listening to that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
All the fucking time.
I actually have both Wayne's World soundtracks. Those are solid.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I could see that.
Mixture of
What I remember.
classic
yeah.
rock and current rock.
Yeah.
You know, Last Action Hero was one.
That's a really good one.
It really is top to bottom.
Yeah.
That's a great soundtrack. Two very solid and very rare Alice in Chains songs on that one. But that's a good one for sure.
Nice.
Another soundtrack movie. I know I'm going to kind of catch some shit for this one, but Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah.
Love the
You
AC/DC in it.
You don't
but
like the movie.
Not a fan.
That's interesting.
It's been a long time since I've seen it, though.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
I just remember watching it as a kid and being like, what the fuck is this?
So you've only saw it the one time.
Yes.
Wow, that
Maybe twice. But not anytime recent. Not within the
Because
last 10, 15 years.
I think it's a really solid movie.
Yeah?
I do.
It's
Yeah.
one that King can flat out tell you. He goes, I don't remember shooting it.
Yeah.
He was so coked out of his mind. But the soundtrack, you know.
I remember
the-
being a fun movie.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
what is it? The Who Made Who was the theme.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
great.
that was that various artists though, or was that like they just
No, but it was-
AC/DC did the soundtrack?
That's the
It was like an
thing.
album,
Yeah.
but it was a soundtrack,
Right.
which is actually kind of cool.
It's different from
It's-
what we're talking about,
Yeah,
but it's a band.
still cool. Yeah, it's a band. They're doing every song. They didn't
Right.
release it as an album that was picked for the soundtrack. They made the
True.
music
Yeah.
as the soundtrack.
That's cool.
And
which is
released
cool.
it as
Yeah.
one of their albums.
Yeah,
you know.
and they have it's a cool cover. I like the cover.
Yes.
It's the cover of the film.
Yep, I like it a lot.
Yeah, I think you should give that a rewatch.
Oh, I'm sure I will.
I think you should because that's a fucking cool movie. I think it's pretty intense. Like,
Really?
yeah, I mean, yeah, them being stuck in a fucking was it like a gas station, I think, or like a
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a rest
convenience
area.
store
Or
or
some
shit.
rest stop type.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
truck stop.
And these fucking
Right?
machines, yeah, just coming after him. Like,
The big green goblin, you know,
Yeah.
that semi, and
It's a cool. That's a cool idea.
yeah, it is a cool idea.
which I think the short story was just trucks.
Mm-hmm.
But like this one, it was like if it was mechanical or electric in any way, it was coming to life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of broadened it out. Man, various.
I'm tapped out on various,
Yeah.
but I can go the other way.
Yes.
I know
Here's
I
score.
have more.
Yeah, I know you do.
But I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Not familiar.
That one had Typo Negative, Summer Breeze, Kula Shaker, Korn. Cohen might have been on there. That was a weird one. It was a weird mix.
Yeah,
I like the weird mix though.
That's what it was. Yeah, because
I do too.
I mean, I Know What You Did Last Summer. That feels like a cobbled together soundtrack, even though all the songs are in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But it does kind of feel like, this fits, that fits. No, they're all in the movie, but it's a very eclectic soundtrack.
Yeah.
But I definitely bought it for the Typo Negative song. Kula Shaker did a pretty decent cover of Hush by Deep Purple.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was another decent one. It's got a rare Korn song on it that's not on any other album.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there were gems. I used to use soundtracks, actually, various artists' soundtracks, to get familiar with a band and then go looking for their stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Because soundtracks were kind of a good well for, like I said, I had Demon Night, the Demon Night soundtrack. I bought it for the Filter song, but that's what introduced me to Pantera. That's what introduced me to Megadeth and Henry Rollins' band. So it was like, you dog ear that page a little bit and go, I'm going to go look for these guys because that song's the shit.
Yeah.
So that was what I kind of used them.
Well, someone said Judgment Night too.
Yes.
You're right. I did bring that up earlier.
Yep.
Judgment Night had some serious energy to it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It fit the movie perfectly.
It did for the fucking time period and everything.
Yeah.
Judgment, this is the Emilio Estevez.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. That's a fucking great movie.
It's been a minute.
It's a
since I've seen
sleeper,
it.
man.
It
Like
is a
nobody
sleeper,
talks
dude.
about that movie.
No, it's a solid fucking movie.
Mm-hmm.
I really dig that one. But you did say scores too, though, right?
I did scores. Like, so for scores, I also like what Brad Fidel did with The Crow for the score.
Yeah.
Not just the various artists. I like his scores.
No, his score for that's great.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's
Brad Fidel, he's one that's slept on.
he is slept on.
He's one of the best out there, and you don't hear about him like you hear the Danny Elfmans and the Alan Silvestri, and this Brad Fidel is
it's
very
true.
underappreciated.
He definitely has like his era, and I don't know if that
Sure.
is only because who knows what he's doing with his life. You know what I mean? Who knows the
Right.
circumstances?
Yeah.
But I would love to hear more of his work. I would love to see him working now, and I don't know he's not.
Right.
He
But
could be,
it's,
yeah.
He
He could very well be. I just, as far as soundtracks go,
yeah.
I mean, come on, how iconic is the Terminator soundtrack? Terminator 2 especially, because when he beefed it up.
Absolutely.
Brad Fidel, this one's kind of a little known movie too. It doesn't get much recognition, but did you ever see Blink?
Madeline Stowe?
Yep, where she was blind.
Yeah.
That's a great.
No, I never
Brad-
saw that.
Yeah. It's a
Great
good
movie.
Good, yeah.
Basically, she's a blind violin player.
Mm.
She goes to have surgery, ocular surgery, so she'll see for the first time since she was, I think, a child.
Oh wow.
And she starts noticing that she'll see something and it's not there, but it was there yesterday. So, like, at one point, Laurie Metcalf from Roseanne, she's like her best friend. She comes into the room with flowers, the day after her surgery, and Madeline turns around and she's kind of like, someone there? And we see through her eyes, it's just shapes, kind of wavy. And whoever it is walks out of the room. Next day, she wakes up and we see Laurie Metcalf walk in and kind of like stare, kind of like, what the fuck? And then disappear. And she goes, Doctor, my friend was just here. And he goes, she came to see you yesterday. So she's like, well, then what the fuck is going on, kind of thing. And he goes, with this surgery, the brain sometimes doesn't catch up with the optics for a little while. This becomes horrible when a serial killer begins to stalk her because his girlfriend died and was an organ donor, and he's systematically tracking down people who took her organs and taking them back.
Okay.
And it's a fucking rad movie. It's a great movie. Nobody ever fucking
And the
talks
term
about
slept on is perfect for this movie.
Gotcha.
Oh, it's very steamy.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you guys like Jennifer 8?
I did.
Yes. Yeah.
I like that movie
I
too.
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was another.
Like a blind woman.
Yes.
Yeah.
It kind of came out around the same time.
It did.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But both were solid and both really don't get much play.
They don't.
Yeah.
No,
But
they
Brad Fidel had it for Blink anyway, to get back to him.
Yeah.
Kind of a new war-ish. It was a very new war.
I definitely want to hear that.
Yeah, it's a solid soundtrack. He also did Fright Night. Brad Fidel is.
did he?
Yeah, Brad Fidel's Fright Night.
Nice.
Wow.
So the Fright Night theme, the famous, I think it's called "Come to Me."
You don't want to do a little bit first right now?
Hang on, let me get my synth. But no, he's a great one. He's one of my favorites that just nobody really talks about him.
Yeah.
I still think he topped out though with T2. That's just such a fucking banger of a soundtrack.
Yeah,
What a
it's
great theme.
hard theme.
That is a
Yeah.
theme.
I mean, literally when
And
that,
it's very simple.
it is, but
Yeah.
when that movie starts, you're in for some badassery, man.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
sets a tone.
Did he do any of the other ones? Or just those
I don't know if he did anything beyond two.
two?
I don't know if he did.
But
anything
obviously
after
they
that.
took his theme and they plugged it through the other ones, but I don't think it was.
Yeah, they plugged it right through. But it doesn't have the same.
No.
Just not the same.
Yeah.
No, not at all. No,
Wow.
it was such an industrial feel.
I think another one worth bringing up, a little different, is the movie The Fountain, the soundtrack for that.
Is that the guy who did Requiem for a Dream?
I don't.
Aronofsky?
I think that's the same director. I think it is.
Okay.
I think it is.
I don't think I saw that.
But I think the composer is Clint. Is it Clint Mansell or?
I think you're right.
Yeah. The Fountain. I remember it, but I never did get to see it.
Okay, I'm trying to think of who he. I think he teamed up with the Kronos Quartet.
It was.
Oh,
for
wow.
that, yeah.
Okay.
And this is just one of these, like, to me, listening to this soundtrack is birth, life, and death.
Wow.
Jeez.
Like, from start to finish, the way it develops and the highs and lows and the buildups and the drama in it.
Sure.
With just the music alone.
A lot of gravitas in that.
Oh, it's crazy. It could make you emotional, I think, if
No
you're having
kidding.
if you're having a day. You know what I mean?
Even without
might-
the context of the movie?
Yeah. Forget
Wow.
the movie.
Yeah,
Wow.
Forget it altogether.
that's impressive.
It's like it stands on its own completely.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to put that in the playlist. you
Yeah.
know.
Well, because I know I don't know the movies. I've never seen them, but I've heard the scores. But for Twilight, they're fucking great.
The actual Twilight movies?
Yeah. The scores are great.
Who does them? Do you know?
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head either. Yeah, but you're right though. Like thinking of listening, yeah, the scoring is good. It's good. It's good shit.
I had no idea.
Yeah, no, they are. I've listened to them a lot actually. Oh, Carter Burrell.
For Twilight.
Yeah,
Okay.
because he did True Grit. That's another great fucking score.
The
Jeff
Jeff
Bridges.
Bridges one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good score.
No kidding.
Yeah, but no, because I'll pop in. It was on the Spotify, and it's just random shit. And
Yeah.
then I was hearing these same songs, so I started like looking at it, and I was like, "Wow, these are for the Twilight movie," but they're really good.
Go figure.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's funny when you like catch something in a playlist and you're like, "Damn, what is that?"
Yeah,
Oh, fuck, it's this.
and then you look at it, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Twilight, the shit I used to make fun of." Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
that was
man.
really good. That's my fault.
Yeah.
Suddenly my shirt is bedazzled.
I also really like the Paris, Texas soundtrack by Ry Cooder.
Oh.
Just basically, I mean, essentially, it's all guitar work
Yeah,
with
Yeah.
a little bit of like ambient synth that just kind of like rides and swells slowly through it. But a lot of slide guitar,
did
So
we ever
good
talk?
writing music.
Did we ever talk about that for Desolate?
What, guitar?
No, the Paris, Texas soundtrack.
It's probably because I was listening to a lot of that.
Yeah, 'cause-
while
Yeah, 'cause
coming
I
up with
remember
stuff.
that's what I was wanting
Yeah,
for that film.
That vibe?
Yeah,
a lot of the guitar shit that I did,
Mm-hmm.
excuse me, is just my completely weak but inspired attempt to do my own little like Ry Cooder ditty type
yeah,
deal. You know,
yeah.
slide around a little bit and try
Mhm.
to have like similar moving progressions. And
Right.
like that. Yeah.
Because again, that's another thing that when I listen to it, I think of the movie, like the stuff that you sent me for that you created for Desolate.
Yeah.
You know, for our movie, and it's the same kind of thing where when I listen to it, it goes right to the movie.
Yeah.
You know, so they go hand in hand. What?
Yeah. The funny thing is like I did a completely, I think I told you, but like I have a totally different soundtrack.
I remember that.
For
I remember you
Desolate.
saying that. Yeah.
Totally
Yeah.
different one.
Which is I'm glad to hear you say that because it's like, you know, this is back up here. You know, the computer.
Yeah. See,
And we're getting ready to literally put this fucker to bed for the
ready
first
to
time.
lock it.
Yeah. Like I showed him a little bit of the movie, just a little bit, you know. And but no, it's actually time. I believe that this movie's going to be coming out soon.
Fuck yeah.
Like,
That's great.
I'm really excited for that. So
Fuck yeah.
so that'll be another one where people are going to say just how fucking good the soundtrack is. That the movie sucks, but the soundtrack's great.
It's just a good soundtrack movie.
It's the two main guys. That's what made the movie great.
Yeah.
The two main guys in the movie.
Two main guys are fucking assassins, man. One of the newer ones for me, it's the score to The Nun.
Oh, okay.
Have you heard that one?
I haven't. I have not.
Okay, so that one, I'm looking at this guy's name. His name's Abel Korzeniowski.
Okay.
And The Nun, it's a very gothic score. It's very, but it's one of those that sounds like evil monastery music.
Okay.
And that shit sets a tone.
Church organ shit.
Not even the organs, just like the baritone voice.
Okay.
A
lot of vocal stuff.
Yes, yes.
Give us
And
A lot of vocal.
Give us a little.
They did like what's the training that Willem Dafoe did for? Didn't he go do some vocal training for Nosferatu?
Oh, Skarsgård. Yes.
Are you serious?
He was doing like Gregorian monk
Yeah.
stuff.
Had no idea.
And like I said, when you go see Nosferatu, the guy, I kept laughing because I was like, he sounds like the singer for fucking Rammstein.
I didn't see the movie.
Du hast.
I wanted to see it, but I didn't see the movie.
It was good. But yeah,
I haven't seen it.
his voice is fucking weird. But it's very, very, very low.
Was it Joe Bashara did some of the other ones?
He did, I think, The Conjurings.
The Conjuring?
And the Conjuring themes are good too.
Yeah,
They're very
wild.
good.
They're good.
Yeah, they're wild.
Yep. I like those. Christopher Young. I like his shit too. Chris Young, he does the themes to at least the first two Hellraiser movies.
Okay, yeah.
And those are very, for horror movies,
Yeah.
low budget horror movies no less, very orchestral, very broad. I mean, it gives those movies an epic feel that the budget sure didn't have.
Wow.
I mean, it feels robust.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah, it
scores
is
are-
definitly.
that's some good shit. And then I guess this would go back to the various artists, but a soundtrack that really disturbs me, kind of fucks me up when I listen to it, is the soundtrack to Sinister. I don't know if you guys remember any of that.
Nope.
I don't.
But they use a lot of music by a group called, I think it's Ulver, Ulver. Very unnerving music.
Interesting.
Very unnerving.
Really?
And a lot of them are played during the snuff tapes.
Okay.
So the snuff tapes are nauseating as it is, but with that score,
Yeah.
and it's hard to call it a score because these are tracks. It is various artists. It's not music to the movie, but
Interesting.
it's ambient. It's not. There's no lyrics.
They weren't made for the movie?
I don't think so. No, because Chris Young scored Sinister, but there's a song by the Boards of Canada called Gyroscope.
Which they can have some ambient trip hoppy kind of stuff.
Those guys?
Yeah.
That's the thing. The score that people mostly associate with, or the song, that people associate with Sinister is Gyroscope.
Okay.
And I thought that was Chris Young because I knew he scored the film.
Yeah.
But yeah, Boards of Canada, the theme to Sinister, that one's very disturbing. But the songs by Ulver are, they sound so bizarre, so otherworldly that it makes what you're seeing worse.
Wow.
Sometimes I feel like I almost got to give it up to a movie more when they don't just have strictly a score or just strictly like some various artist soundtrack, but
Sure.
they have like an amalgamation of all of it.
Yeah.
It's like there's a little bit of a gamble in that.
Yeah.
And there's a real conviction you have to have in like, no, fuck this. This is my vision. I want to use this for this. And then we're using this song here. I don't give a fuck if it's every flavor at the ice cream shop.
Right. If it's gonna punctuate the movie the way I want it to, just do it.
Like I actually think Heat did that well. That's essentially that is a various artist soundtrack, but there is some scoring in it.
Right.
Yes.
And
that's
they
the
kind of
blend.
change
There's a
hands
blend.
a little bit throughout it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
No, very. That's kind of how the Sinister movies are. Like
Yeah.
I've never heard of any of these guys, and it's all ambient. So a quick pass on the movies, you would think it's just the score,
Yeah.
and it's just really otherworldly creepy, But yeah, I looked those up and was like, I'll be damned. Chris Young scored the movie, but a lot of these are not his songs. Not his stuff. But it's creepy. Another one, I guess, for me, it's Jerry Goldsmith, his work on The Omen.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's
Yeah.
another one with monastery style music.
Yeah.
But instead of the organs, that's the low piano
Yeah.
and then the chants. So the baritone voice chanting,
Yeah.
was it like Ave Satana? But you're hearing that the low piano and then the big drum.
The music itself
Bum, bum,
is
bum.
a conjuring.
It is, and it's a very unsettling score, but it's the score is scarier than the movie. And
Yeah.
much as I love The Omen,
It wouldn't have the weight without that
right,
emotional
and
padding.
and
of
it's
music.
that
Yeah.
it's that religious weight too, because it feels very monastery.
Oh,
you
that
know.
religious weight. That's the heaviest weight there is.
It is, and
you know?
in the movies that can wield that, they get you.
Yeah.
And I remember watching the first Omen. I'm not talking about the '76 Richard Donner. I'm talking about the movie that came out like last year called The First Omen,
Okay.
which is technically the fifth, I believe.
Yeah.
It's a prequel, and near the end of the movie, the Ave Satana starts, and my hair stood straight up.
Mm.
And they used it at such a perfect moment that it was
Nice.
like, oh my God. And I just remember I was watching it with my daughter, and when it happened, I mean, she's creeped out already by what she's looking at, but I was like, holy shit, they brought in Ava Satana. And I was like, this couldn't have gotten better. And it was literally because they dropped that score at that moment. It
Yeah.
was so fucking good.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I'm fairly certain that's Jerry Goldsmith.
Yeah.
That did that. I think he might have been up for an Oscar,
For that?
possibly.
Wow.
So back when horror wasn't,
Well, at least it got some attention back then, right?
it did. Because I know for sure, like, is it Lalo Schifrin?
Yeah.
Lalo? Is it Lalo or Lalo?
Lalo.
Lalo, he was up for an Oscar for Amityville
He did the music for Amityville?
Yep.
Wow.
with the little kids chorus,
Yeah.
and the piano.
Huh.
Here's what's funny, and I
Holy shit, I didn't know that.
no one's ever come right out and said it. This is kind of like an urban legend, but Lalo Schifrin was hired by Bill Friedkin to score The Exorcist.
Wow.
He says he played him the track, and apparently Friedkin took the track off the reel, threw it out the window into the parking lot, and said, "That's where that piece of shit belongs."
Whoa.
Whoa,
And
buddy.
then turned to his producer and was like, "You ever heard of Tubular Bells?" Which became the theme to The
Are
Exorcist.
you fucking kidding me?
Okay, so he wound up grabbing Tubular Bells, which was a pre-existing song.
Right.
And now it's married to The Exorcist. You
Yeah.
hear Tubular Bells,
Yeah.
you know that's The Exorcist. Rumor has it, Lalo scraped his score off the parking lot and used it for the Amityville Horror and won a fucking Oscar.
Oh, shit.
That's the rumor.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's ever substantiated it, but the rumor is the Amityville score was the rejected Exorcist score.
All I know is back in that time period, how do you just not get your ass beat right then and there for doing something?
Doing
like
something.
I don't
Yeah.
because you're Bill Friedkin.
And that's the thing too, is that
Fuck,
like,
He was another
fuck
maverick.
him.
yeah, exactly. And that's where I'm at. Because he was a notorious asshole.
He was. He absolutely was.
yeah.
I mean,
And that's the problem, is that he was an asshole because he was allowed to be an asshole.
because of
Had
French,
he gotten checked?
because he did French Connection.
Yeah.
French Connection made him, they put him at the top with a bullet, and he was one that you don't dare question.
Yeah.
But he was pulling John Ford tactics on set and hiding guns everywhere to startle people. And the priest at the end who gives Father Karras his last rites at the bottom of the stairs, his hand's shaking. Bill Friedkin smacked the fuck out of him and then said, "Roll it." Like, this guy, apparently he was giving, and this this guy was a real priest, an actual priest. He was there as a, I forget the name.
I can't think of the fucking name. I know what I know where you're going with this.
Yeah,
right?
like he's there to make sure that what they're doing is right.
Yeah.
So I forget the name of it, but he had a small role in the movie as Father Karras' like drinking buddy priest, Well, he says he kept giving the last rites over and over and over. And Bill was like, "No, I don't feel like the weight of your friend dying in front of you is there." So he goes, "Come here." And the priest walks up to him and he goes, "Do you trust me?" And I guess the priest, he said in an interview, when someone starts a sentence that way, you immediately don't trust them. But he goes, I said, sure, Bill. And he said, Bill bitch slapped this guy so hard across the mouth and then turned to his cameraman and said, roll it. And he goes, when you see my hand shaking in The Exorcist when I'm giving the last rites, he goes, that's not acting. He goes, I'm shaking just because of the confrontation I just had. Because he goes, you see me doing that, my mouth is still numb from the smack I just did. And it's like, dude, today,
There's no way that would have happened.
No fucking
no,
way.
I would have dragged him up those stairs to throw him down them.
Yeah, I would have thrown him out the window.
That's what I mean. It's like, holy fucking shit. And then
Yeah.
Ellen Burstyn, the scene, the infamous crucifix scene,
Mm-hmm.
you know how Reagan grabs her face and then backhands her
Mm-hmm.
and she hits the ground screaming. She was in a harness and she fell. Friedkin was like, no, it's not working. She's not falling convincingly enough. So I guess he grabbed the guy who was pulling the harness and he goes, I want you to really give it to her. And apparently he yanked her so hard, both feet came off the floor. And when she screams, when she hits the ground, that's a real scream. She has had back problems since The Exorcist because of that stunt. And that's the reason you get a stunt chick to take a fall.
Yeah, fucking menace. This
But
guy
man,
was.
I'm telling you,
He's the
like
fucking exorcist.
He's the
really-
exorcist. I have no respect for this guy. This guy's a fucking asshole.
He's an asshole, but it's
Is
like
he alive?
no, he died of
he's-
How long ago did he die?
a couple years ago.
Yeah, a
I
couple years
think.
ago.
He lasted that fucking long?
Yeah.
All the bad shit that happened to people around The Exorcist, and this motherfucker made it to just a few years ago?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here's what's funny though. If he was untouchable with French Connection, you know he was even more untouchable after The Exorcist.
Oh, for sure.
The Exorcist
Absolutely.
it's what he's known for
Yeah.
now. And it's like, if he would have been one of those that's like, fuck it, sue me.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, you'll never work in this town again. Like, who knows what kind of a guy he was? They all claimed that he was a teddy bear when he wasn't being completely belligerent from the
I
sounds of it.
mean,
Yeah, but if you're belligerent 90% of the time, who the fuck wants the 10% teddy bear?
Exactly. Yeah.
Fuck that teddy bear.
Yeah. No, it's the shit he pulled on The Exorcist is it's the stuff of legends.
Yeah,
You know,
obviously.
there's a lot of stories.
Yeah.
But yeah, to circle back to soundtracks again, though, what bigger fuck you is there than taking a soundtrack that was thrown out the window by Bill Friedkin and then winning an Oscar for it?
I hope this story's
Wow.
true.
I really do too.
Where did you hear that?
I forget. It might have been one of the Exorcist documentaries I watched.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might have been.
And the thing too is that like Lalo's a really cool guy.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
And his kid too, right?
Yeah. Ryan.
Ryan, yeah.
Yeah.
Does
crazy.
Ryan do music too?
No, Ryan was actually doing films. He was a filmmaker.
He was a director, right?
Yeah.
He didn't. Okay.
No, he didn't. No.
Because I think Ryan's one. Didn't he do Abominable?
He did.
But Lalo scored it, I think.
Yes.
That was cool.
Yeah. You know, Lalo did Boulevard Nights.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And of course, you know, Enter the Dragon.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
You know, it's a pretty big
Oh,
catalog.
he wound up not needing.
I see. I'm still stuck on this whole. I just in my mind, I just went to a place where I'm like, this Lalo must be so cool and
Yeah.
so grounded, and probably so much more connected to street shit
Yeah.
that he's like, I'm gonna let this motherfucker slide. with
Had
this."
to. He
How
had
cool.
to. But he had to
Yeah.
have been on a higher plane.
Yeah.
Right.
Because to be able to allow that, no.
I mean, a
and maybe the story is right then. You know what
a
I
simple
mean?
no
Yeah.
would have been fine.
Yeah.
What,
Yeah.
what the theatrics?
Why
man?
be such a prick? For
Yeah.
what reason? You know, there's no fucking reason.
Yeah.
Because I mean, first of all,
Power
this is,
trips.
this is still Lalo Schifrin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He wasn't some schlub off the street. I mean, this guy's already attached to a fucking iconic classic film.
Yeah.
It's like, why disrespect him? Well, why disrespect anybody? But it's
Yeah.
just like, come on, really? Lalo Schifrin?
Yeah.
You want to treat him like that? You know, because you're a prick?
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. That annoys me, though.
Wow.
It really
Yeah.
does.
Oh,
annoy
yeah.
me.
No,
Fucking
I-
be thinking about this on my drive home.
I never. That's what I mean. Like Bill Friedkin, genius or no, I would not have worked for him.
Yeah.
Like just the stories that came out, I was like,
Oh, that's a perfect example of like the certain when you don't want to like meet your heroes or whatever, you know. It's like,
Right.
just leave it. You don't want to know stuff.
Yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yep.
Yeah,
No.
because that's not
You don't need to be so full of yourself.
that's not flattering.
No,
at
it's
all.
not.
Yeah.
That's not flattering.
Which is
No.
kind of like a totally different thing, right? Like, okay, you like somebody because they're a great actor, great composer, like, just leave it there, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to fucking know anything else.
Right.
Don't fuck this
Sure.
up for me.
Yeah.
No, yeah, there's been instances.
Well, then, okay, then saying that, are you like a bells and whistles guy with physical media? You know, like you get a Blu-ray and there's like a shitload of behind-the-scenes stuff. Are you diving into that stuff?
It depends. It depends.
Yeah.
I know it's a risk.
Yeah.
I do.
For that specific
For that
reason.
specific reason, if I'm going to learn too much and then it's going to tarnish the fictitious world I created.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, I also look at it like the way I see somebody's work of art is still only through my own personal filter and sensibility, right?
Sure.
You know, like they can only go so far with it,
Right.
you know? So I know that there's already some stuff that I'm doing there that I'm imposing on them as an
Yeah.
artist, you know, like, so maybe I don't want to go past that, but sometimes it's like, you know what? I'm just so into this and I respect what they made that I have to. I got to watch the extra
You got to
shit.
peek behind the curtain.
I got to peek
little bit.
behind the curtain.
For sure.
There's
like I did-
certain
yeah.
things, yeah. I mean, because I'm a notorious bells and whistles guy. If a movie comes out and there's not much on it, I'll wait for a collector's edition. You know what I mean? Like I'm one of those.
Yeah.
But rarely have I really had an instance where it fucked anything up.
Completely colored the movie for you.
Right. It might color a person.
Yeah.
One that comes to mind immediately is Jamie Lee Curtis being interviewed on the Scream Factory edition of The Fog. And the interview was kind of like career in review because 1980, 81, 82, she just hopped from one scary movie to the next. But she mentions how The Fog, she's like, that's just not my bag. It's stupid. And then whoever she's talking to, which I believe is Sean Clark, you see her kind of look and go, what's John going to do? Fire me? And I'm like, you're so glib about it. You can't just say, you know, I preferred Halloween or whatever. You know what I mean? But she just kind of shat on The Fog. And I'm like, I'm not sure that's an interview I would have kept on that edition.
Yeah.
or
yeah,
at least,
definitely.
or at least, you know, snip a thing or two out there. But it was just kind of like, just kind of the glib way Jamie Lee talked about it. I was like, you're yucking someone's yum.
Mm-hmm.
Me being the someone.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm a huge Fog fan.
Well, maybe that's why she doesn't partake in too many conventions, you know? Because it's beneath her.
That's kind of the vibe I get.
Yeah. Because that's really what it sounds like, you know, from what you just said right now, is that, well, this shit's beneath her.
Well, when you do that and then you take into account the story by Daniel Harris and Scout Taylor Compton at the premiere of Halloween Ends. Did you hear about that?
No.
They apparently bumped into her and was like, we're such big fans. We're part of the family. Scout played you in Rob Zombie's. I played your daughter. And allegedly, Jamie Lee kind of gave them both a once-over and was like, I don't know who you are. And just walked away, which broke both of their hearts because it was
Wow.
like, we're here because of you. You know what I mean? And allegedly, Heather Langenkamp and Amanda Weiss were at the same premiere party. I guess they walked over and was like, that was ugly. And they were kind of like, you girls want to go get a drink? You want to hang out? And like, they were the mother hens who witnessed this and was kind of like, yeah, no. You don't treat fans that way, but you certainly don't treat your colleagues that way. And they're both, you know. And it was just, when I heard that story, I was like, fucking drag.
Yikes.
You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, well, you know, maybe someone missed their Activia that day.
Maybe she.
Yeah. Yeah. So these are the kind of stories that I worry about.
They
you
bum
know?
me out. Yeah, but it's like, I still like The Fog. I still like Halloween.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to rush out to see Jamie Lee.
Yeah.
You know
For
what I
sure.
mean? So
Yeah. I try to do this thing too, where it's like,
it is
okay.
hard to separate the art from the artist. I will say that.
okay, maybe she, you know, that story having gone down like that,
Mhm.
that was not her best show. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like she fucked that up, but like, I don't know. People are fucking people. We don't know what kind of day she had that day. Who the fuck
Exactly.
knows?
Right.
You know
There's
what
always
I mean?
there's always another side.
Mm-hmm. I mean, hey, hating John Cusack doesn't color me from liking his movies.
Which cracks me the fuck up. That's been like my gummo.
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh, dude, there's this great movie you should check out. It's called High Fidelity.
Right. Right.
I did tamper around. We were with the commentary thing when he told me it was gummo. I'm sitting here like, I'm gonna make this motherfucker sit through Grosse Point Blank.
Oh God. Absolutely terrible. What a terrible person. He's just a terrible person.
Hey, I mean, if that's how someone rubs you, that's how you get rubbed.
I mean, it was. Yeah.
That would be one of the "Don't Meet Your Heroes" moments if I was Brad.
It definitely was,
because I grew up on Cusack. He's still one of my favorite actors, but it's like that would color it for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't blame you a bit. I give you shit for it, but I can't blame you one bit. I'd hate to be the person who met someone you respected and was like, oh, wow.
Well, because for me, 80s Cusack was fucking everything.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And
then having a weird opportunity to be around him and then like everything just go completely fucking south. That's so quick.
Yeah, I guess.
Which I was just like, what? Okay, cool. But
Yeah.
You're going to have to tell this story one day.
I mean, one day I will have to, yeah. But it's so weird because, there's parts of me, even with this story, where I'm like, I don't even believe it.
Yeah. You don't want to keep, if you tell the story, it keeps it alive.
It does.
Maybe you just want
Yeah,
it.
because, yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah. And plus, you know what? I don't know if I'm ready.
I understand
You know what
that.
I mean? Like, I don't know. Because it's like, it is one of those things where I think I'm more butthurt over it. Because it was like, man, I fucking like you. You're a cool guy. But of course, then it was like naivete because I'm like, well, I'm just associating you with all your characters that I know you as.
Right,
Well,
right.
And
right.
clearly, you're not him.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Right.
So I guess, in a way, he kind of did you a service.
yeah.
In a way, it's like, yeah, well, guess what, buddy?
You didn't have to take a sledgehammer to it,
It's not all fucking glam and glitter.
It's not.
Nope.
It's not. And the thing, too, is that, like, after this shit went down, I had saw a documentary. I want to say it was Breakfast with Hunter. And Hunter S. Thompson was at the Viper Room with Johnny Depp. And Johnny Depp was reading excerpts from a book.
Okay.
And like they pull up in this old ass car in front of the Viper Room, and it's Johnny Depp, John Cusack, and Hunter Thompson. And like Hunter has like a blow up doll, and he gets out and like he's throwing it into traffic, and they're in the Viper Room and they're like reading his letters and all this shit. And I was like, damn, God damn it. It's like another level where he's hanging out with the fucking hero of mine, loving Hunter. And I'm like, oh God.
You son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. That's why I know the most talented Cusack is Joan.
I do.
I love everything about
really
Joan.
Fucking hope
Joan
she's
is
a rat.
amazing. Joan is awesome.
Yeah, I love Joan. to
She's dope.
pieces.
Yeah.
But no, I've been lucky in that regard. I haven't had too many weird or awkward con appearances or met someone who was like, wow, that didn't go the way I thought it would.
Yeah. Yeah, no, those are sketchy, man.
They are.
Because it just kind of like takes the wind out of your sails.
It does. Oh, in a big bad way.
And
Because
now
you're not going to get that moment back, and you're not going to be able to you're not going to get a redo.
No.
I mean, granted, in our industry and what we're doing, there's possibilities we're going to run into the same people again.
Yeah.
But most casual fans are there for that one time.
Right.
And that's the moment they're going to remember forever.
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
I've been lucky. So far.
Yeah.
I've never had anyone who was real flippant or, all right, here's your autograph, kid. Get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Everyone's been pretty rad so far. And
well, that's good. Because I mean, I've had a few.
I know you have.
I've had a few. I mean, I had a recent one at a con. Like we were walking around and we saw Jason Segel.
Oh yeah, you told me about this.
And of course, my daughter was there, and she's like a huge Freaks and Geeks fan.
Yeah.
So he's walking by. I got the camera in the hand. I'm like, 2 seconds, man. I'm like, hey, can I get my daughter get a picture? No, man, it's too crazy. There's too many people. I don't want to draw attention. And I'm like, motherfucker, you're at a convention. You're fucking 7 feet tall.
I'm pretty sure everyone's seen
If you didn't want to draw attention, you would have stayed home.
Exactly.
That's exactly
And that's
it.
what pissed me off. It's like, you're not at dinner and I'm coming up to your table.
Yeah,
You're in a public setting.
Right. He's not out with his family. You're not inserting yourself in
Exactly.
his private bubble.
Exactly. It's like, this is a public con.
If Bob in the Predator cosplay stops for a picture,
Yeah, exactly.
you can give me
Yeah.
that. You know what I
2
mean?
seconds, man.
I mean,
2
look at
seconds.
these people that dress up for these cons, and they're being stopped every 5 feet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
they're totally cool about it.
But you're at the convention. You know,
Exactly.
like,
Yeah.
I'm all for leave somebody the fuck alone when it's, go time and just regular life activities.
Yep.
If I see somebody at the airport, I'm going to leave them alone.
Absolutely.
That's not the fucking place. for
It's
this.
not the place. It's
You don't
not
go
the
up
place.
and ask somebody for a photo at the fucking DMV.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Choose your battle.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Go to the convention.
It was the
And
convention.
you know who you are.
and not to mention, he's a
sorry.
fucking 1.5 feet taller than everyone in the goddamn room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it literally
They're
just
gonna,
like,
they're gonna see you coming from like aisles away.
oh, yeah. And it spread like wildfire that he was there. Because I saw him instantly and I told my daughter, look. And she was like, holy shit, that's cool. So I was like, let me just ask him, Fucking, the only reason he couldn't do it, that one, we saw Slash at a convention. And my son was like, holy shit, it's fucking Slash. And like, walked up and just to say hi. I wasn't trying to take a picture. I was just like, wanted to say hi. And he said, what's up? Fist bump my son, super cool. But they're like dragging him out, and it's like, what the fuck?
That's
like,
another thing altogether when your entourage.
yeah. And that's the thing is like, he was trying to hang out and look, and they're just like dragging him away,
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? And then you turn around on the same day. He wasn't appearing there, but D. Snyder was there. And he's just walking around. And of course, he's another one who's a fucking giant.
Yep.
And he's got those fucking golden locks and the way he
he's
dresses.
big birding around.
Exactly. So it's just like, well, shit, there's D. Snyder. And of course, what's he doing? Taking pictures with everyone, saying hi to everyone, just being super fucking
D.
cool.
Snyder's a fucking rad dude.
Yeah.
Because he's not all fucking LA'd out.
He's not. He's
and
not.
he could be.
Absolutely could be.
He's one that, I mean, he is complete West Coast. Well, he used to be East Coast, but still, he's D. fucking Snyder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone knows who he is. I had a cool story with him. My daughter wrote him a fan letter when she was little. And I mean, we're talking like stick figures, backwardsy, like little.
Yeah.
And I'd been talking to D for a couple weeks because I was doing a column for a magazine about his wife. And I had hit him up on Twitter and was like, dude, if I write this thing up, would you read it real quick and you let me know if you got any notes on it or whatever. And at one point I said, during our discourse, I was like, oh, my daughter wants to send you fan mail. Do you have like a fan mail address or whatever? He goes, actually, he was doing the heavy metal Christmas show or something in New York and was like, just send it there. They'll get it to me. So we mailed it and jump ahead maybe 5-6 years. He's at a con. Not visiting, he's actually got a table. And we walk up and I go, hey, D, I'm Jace Marsiglia. I'm the guy who wrote the thing about your wife. And he goes, dude, my wife said that was the greatest birthday present ever. And I was like, oh, well, cool. I was just like, I didn't know if you'd remember me or not. He goes, I absolutely remember you. And then he goes, and who's this? And Maddie was like super shy. She was like, yeah, Madeline, blah, blah, blah. And she goes, I wrote you a fan letter and sent it to you in New York. And he goes, was it and he described it to a T.
Yeah.
And even I was like, holy shit. And,
Nice.
and he goes, not only did I get it, it was in my dresser room until the end of the run. He goes, thank you very much. And he literally, when he did email her, he mailed her back and we have a signed laminate from his show.
Rad.
Because that's just the guy he
Yeah.
was. We didn't
That's
pay-
cool.
Didn't
Yeah.
pay a fucking cent.
Yeah.
He just did it because she's a kid.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's a rad fucking guy, and he's got all the reason in the world to be dickhead rock star if he
All the
wanted
reason.
to be.
Yeah.
God.
He could have been screaming from the bleachers, hit that fucking ball.
No, right.
But he knows to let kids be kids.
Exactly. Good pull, by the way. He could definitely be that guy, but yeah, he was fucking rad. He
Yeah.
was a great guy. So
Definitely.
yeah, it's not going to ruin your day to stop for 2 seconds.
No, it's not.
You know what I mean? So
Much better way to end it.
yeah.
Thanks, D.
Let kids
Yeah.
be kids, and I want to rock.
Yeah, and fuck you, John Cusack. So,
Fuck your Yankee Blue Jeans or some shit like that.
Yeah, so until next time.
See you guys.
Ciao.